Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will step into the world of The Vampire Maid by Hume Nisbet. The Vampire Maid is a Gothic horror short story written by Hume Nisbet and published in 1900. Known for its eerie atmosphere and psychological depth, the story explores themes of isolation, obsession, and the supernatural, specifically focusing on vampirism. The tale follows a man seeking solitude in a remote cottage, only to encounter strange and otherworldly forces that take control of his life. Nisbet's work taps into the romanticized yet terrifying figure of the vampire, blending horror with subtle psychological manipulation. Plot summary: the man had reached a breaking point. His mind, once filled with energy and enthusiasm, had become barren, and his soul longed for escape. Overworked and weary, he packed his belongings and left the city behind, yearning for the solace of the countryside. His heart sought solitude, a retreat where he could heal and find peace, away from the trivialities of society. He wandered through the moors, crossing fields and hills, his steps growing lighter with each mile. The fresh air revived his senses, and the open sky above promised the freedom he so desperately craved. As he walked, he came across a lonely cottage perched on the cliffs overlooking the ocean, its stone walls weathered by the wind and sea. The sound of the waves crashing below was a lullaby, soothing his troubled spirit. The woman who greeted him at the door seemed kind and calm, her face still bearing the beauty of her youth. She invited him inside, offering him a room to stay. He accepted, feeling immediately at ease in her presence. The cottage, with its white curtains and the scent of lavender lingering in the air, was exactly what he had been searching for. It was simple but comforting, a place where he could finally rest. He learned that the woman was a widow, living alone with her daughter Ariadne, who was unwell and confined to her room. On the second day of his stay, Ariadne emerged, pale and frail, her dark eyes holding a strange, hypnotic depth. There was something about her that captivated him immediately. She was not traditionally beautiful, but her alabaster skin, contrasting sharply with her jet-black hair and blood-red lips, entranced him. Her presence, delicate and ethereal, stirred something deep within him. From that moment, he was lost. His mind and heart fixated on Ariadne, and he could think of nothing else. Every day, they spent more time together, walking along the cliffs or resting on the moor. Ariadne spoke little, but her eyes spoke volumes, drawing him closer with each passing hour. His dreams were filled with her image, dreams of her soft, pale hand in his, her lips pressing against his, and her hair flowing around him like a silken veil. These dreams left him exhausted each morning, but the more he saw her, the more he craved her presence. He confessed his love for her on one of their walks, unable to contain the emotions that had consumed him. She accepted his love without hesitation, her black eyes gleaming as she spoke of how he had given her life. He believed it too, as she seemed to grow stronger each day while he, in contrast, grew weaker. Yet he did not question this strange exchange. He simply assumed that his love for her was draining him of energy, making him languid and lethargic. It mattered little, for he was happiest when she was near. Their relationship deepened rapidly, yet he kept it a secret from her mother, unsure of how to approach the subject. Meanwhile, his body grew increasingly frail, and his nights were filled with disturbing dreams of Ariadne lying beside him, her lips on his throat, her hair enveloping him as she whispered sweet nothings into his ear. Each morning, he awoke weaker than the last, his limbs heavy, his thoughts clouded, but his love for her blinding him to the danger. One night, after a walk beneath the full moon, he returned to his room utterly exhausted. He collapsed onto his bed, too tired even to drink the draught of milk that Ariadne's mother had left for him. Sleep came quickly, but it was filled with terror. He dreamed that a monstrous bat flew into his room, its wings vast and black, its face bearing Ariadne's features. The creature's red lips latched onto his arm, sucking the life from him. He tried to fight, but his body was paralyzed, chained by a mix of fear and strange delight. As the bat fed, he glanced around the room and saw the bodies of young men lying on the floor, each with the same red mark on their arm, in the exact place where the creature now fed on him. In that moment, the truth struck him: Ariadne was no ordinary woman. She was a vampire, a creature of the night, draining his life force with every kiss, every touch. The mark on his arm, which he had ignored for weeks, was a sign of her feeding. The sudden realization filled him with horror, and he awoke with a start, his heart pounding in his chest. The moonlight streaming through the open window illuminated the scene before him. Ariadne, with her black hair loose, her lips pressed to his arm, blood staining her pale skin. With a cry of terror, he pushed her away, her eyes flashing with anger and hunger as she stumbled back. Her beauty, once mesmerizing, now appeared monstrous, and the sight of her blood-stained lips filled him with revulsion. Without hesitation, he fled from the cottage, his fear driving him across the moors. He ran, never stopping, until he had put miles between himself and that cursed place. Even as he escaped, the thought of her haunted him. The memories of her touch, her gaze, and the dreams that had once filled him with joy now left him hollow and broken. He had fallen under her spell, a spell that had nearly cost him his life. He had sought peace and solitude, but instead found himself ensnared by a creature of the night, a vampire who had fed on his love and vitality until he was nearly consumed. The moors, once a place of solace, had become a prison. And though he escaped with his life, he knew he would never truly be free of the memory of Ariadne, the Vampire Maid. Looking for more great reads? Be sure to check out other books by Hume Nisbet. Find them in the description or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Hume Nisbet's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.